You're about to watch a clip from the Patreon exclusive PP podcast where I talk to all of the content creators in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, mostly about stuff that not a lot of people know about. If you guys enjoy clips like this, let me know in the comment section. If you do want to watch the full clip, you can find it on Patreon. The first link is in the description. I hope you guys enjoy. And as far as the beta program goes, like, what is that experience like? Like, you can't talk about it, obviously, but what's it like knowing stuff early, having good input, getting to test characters, seeing multiple iterations of kits? I feel like they probably got to change a lot of stuff over the creation process because it goes from here's an idea to, oh, well, this doesn't really work. This is too OP or it's not as good as we want it to be. Like, what's just the overall experience of being able to participate in, like, game development, testing, and all of that stuff?
It has its pros and cons. The pros are I'm getting to have an impact immediately on stuff. Where I kind of add in what I'm hearing from the community and keeping stuff of that in the back of my mind, but a lot of my own thoughts into it, and collaborating with the other testers and the game developers and designers and stuff like that. And I can talk about a little bit because I've actually had Crumb on and we've talked about the beta program. So I can talk about, like, we have made massive changes. So if you think about all the characters that have come in, there has been impact on how those things perform. And so it's cool. It's one of I was in the beta program years back. I left it. The reason I stopped doing it is because I didn't feel like we were being heard or listened to. There was no communication. It just wasn't working for me. So I left. And then started to develop as personnel changed over there. Second chance, they came back to me and said, hey, we'd really like you to do this. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to give this a shot, mainly for Crumb and Doja, who were really supporters of wanting me to be in that program. And so I can say it's a really good, healthy working relationship. The cons, though, is I can't be like I was before, where I'm predicting stuff and commenting on stuff. You get bombarded all the time. What's coming. I know what's coming. I'm not going to tell you. One, legally I can't because I'm under an NDA, and two, it's just morally, I'm not going to do it.
Isn't it funny though? Like when you like hop on different streams, not you specifically, but I mean like viewers, and then you're asking people making these predictions, and like 3 weeks later, it's like, oh, they had the exclusive for the month, like a month ago, and you're just like, oh, okay, well, you're just like lying to not like lying to me because I know they can't actually say, but I've just because I would never want to be in the beta program because I enjoy trying to predict what's gonna happen. Like, when I saw a Grand Inquisitor, like, I had kind of thought that they would probably go in that direction, but they said 5 Inquisitors, so I guess the new chick. And, like, if I was reacting to the thing live, and I was like, oh my god, like, that was, you know what I mean? I had that euphoria. No dicks were out or anything, but there was some euphoria there, and I was excited. And I feel like I could never be a part of that, knowing that, like all of the fun of just, like, Doja's just, like, and a special guest, and they got the little silhouette of the Grand Inquisitor. Like, that's what I love. Like, are you sad that you're kind of missing out on that because, like, you get to test it early, or?
No, because I get to I get to be a part of making something, having an impact on you guys, getting that enjoyment. I mean, to see everybody's reaction and knowing ahead of time, like, give 2 examples, the Starkiller announcement and all those characters.
That was
and
fun.
See everybody's announcements. It's so fun to watch. I mean, just to see Rand's reaction,
dude, that was cool.
Just because I dicked with him for months, I knew that was coming, and I would intentionally go on his streams and say, as long as I'm testing, you will never get a mastery work. And I even had Crumb and Doja backing me up saying the same thing, and just giving him endless shit. And then on that night, I intentionally was being the way I was that night to deflect any way I could because I didn't want Ram to even have an idea of what was coming. And just to see his reaction when we did that. But he was like almost in tears, and it was just
I think he was
amazing.
in tears. I have a screenshot of actual tear on his face.
It's worth it.
One of my prized PNG files right there. Ram crying.
Yeah. I mean, but it's worth it. I mean, you have an impact on that stuff. I mean, the negative too is that if something goes wrong, people want to jump your shit and they just want to tear you apart. I mean, I always hear, like, this is the comment I hear: you guys don't test anything. Okay, so this is not working, but in the last year, let's use the last year, Starkiller seems pretty good. Characters that came with Starkiller were pretty good. JMK, Cat, I can go down the list. These were all really good characters that are really good. So those are fine. This one thing doesn't quite work out the way you thought, or maybe we thought, and you're going to be like, we don't test stuff. I mean, how do you think all this shit got into the game? You know, and it's almost impossible. And I'll say this for your viewers: you can test till the cows come home. You just have no idea once it gets into the live environment what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just, there's not enough testing I can do or the other guys,
because there's hundreds of thousands of different relics, different mods, different team comps, different play styles, different opponents.
It's
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what is,
and I try to focus on this, the main stuff of making it work and stuff. That's my big thing when I'm testing.
So I feel like a lot of people have this very specific question. Like, when you do test, is it like only R8s, R9s? Because a lot of people are like, why didn't they test it as lower? Like, is it getting tested at every iteration at 3 stars before you can, you know, before it's even farmable? Is it getting tested at Gear 12, at Relic 3, Relic 5, Relic 9? Like, is it just Relic 9s, Relic 8s, or is it like it builds up progressively over time?
For me, I don't test it at that level per se, because my main thing that I want to know is at the end of the day, when it gets to max stuff, what's going to happen. There are other people that do. Again, they're in the shadows because, again, the beta program is supposed to be that way. So I know that they are looking at that stuff. My main focus when I'm beta testing is, all right, here's this new character. At all things equal, what does this do against GLs? What does this thing do against other teams that are meta? You know, as much as I can just to look at it. But even then, and once in a while I will be like, I don't know, what does this guy do at 3 stars Gear 11? Huh. Okay. You know, it's just to take a look at it. But my primary thing is, one, I'm looking for flaws in the kit and working on, like, okay, what is this working as it's supposed to? Is it underpowered? Is it overpowered? Because that's a bigger thing than how good is the character for me at 3 stars Gear 11. And then there's a lot of times that the stuff's modified and we got to go back and test it again, you know? So I'm looking to make sure that the overall product comes out. But I like the fact that people find stuff that they can use with these characters and things that I didn't even think of, because I'm one person. I ain't gonna think of all this shit, and I just enjoy it. Other people like, why didn't you guys think of this? I don't know. I didn't think about it. Goddamn, you know, it's like, just give me a break.
You mean you don't have 500,000 brains that think all at once about different team?
No, I wish we did, man. Yeah, I mean, you got to remember too, the beta pro is all voluntary. We do it on our own time. We don't get paid. We do it because we love the game and we do the best we can. And it's mainly just to check,
make sure it's not broken.
Yeah, make sure it works. Make sure it's functional. It's fun. That's a big thing. How fun is this kit? Does it do what CG's kind of intending? And we can go back and forth with them on this stuff, you know, and that's the cool thing. We don't always agree. CG doesn't always agree with us, and we don't always agree with them, and we'll hammer it out, you know, and go back and forth. And I record videos and data and send that into them. Like, look, I'm telling you, this shit ain't working, you know? So, and they'll push back. Okay, we'll get back to you. And then they'll come back. Okay, we readjusted this and let's try it again. So, so yeah, it's just something you got to do because you love it. It's not because you're doing it for high praise.
Because like we don't know any of the other beta testers, right? So theoretically, these are just random people out there, and so they're not doing it for, you know, clout, basically.
Yeah,
right?
clout or notoriety.
Yeah, and you were just ousted because you were on some streams and Crumb mentioned it, right?
Yeah.
Snitched
and
on
I was
you?
okay with it. Yeah, he kind of snitched on my butt.
Dirty
but that's
boy.
okay.
It's okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's all fine. I don't mind. I can take the heat. It doesn't bother me.
So the beta program's got to be pretty small, right? You know,
Yeah.
I can't imagine that that they have 10,000 people, because I feel like that'd be kind of annoying to kind of put together.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of beta programs, I don't know the actual size of them, but it's usually a certain group, certain amount of people that they have. But I've beta tested other games before, but I never knew the exact number, but I knew it wasn't a big number. So I don't know. I have no idea how many people are in the actual beta program. I know it's not a lot, and I can just make that kind of assessment just from
Yeah.
the conversations and comments of people I see. Of course, it's all anonymous and stuff, and then, I mean, they're using other names that I don't know who they are.
Hmm.
So even CG in there, there's like, the only reason I know who certain people are with their names in there is because I've just known them for a long time, you know.
Yeah.
So
Well, this is a very community-based game, right? So I
yeah,
feel like there's a lot of those deep, long-lasting, multi-year connections. I would imagine that probably also exists in the beta program.
yeah,
Um, I guess kind of last point on the beta program itself is if they're like, and not me, obviously, because I do not want to be a part of this whatsoever.
sure.
I think it's actually would kill my YouTube channel because I wouldn't be able to talk about anything. What if there are other, thought leaders in the community, top 10 players or content creators or whatever, and they love this game, they got the free time, they want to participate somehow. Is there any website where they can apply, put in an application? Is there like a mailing thing that like, is there any hope for them? Because I know a couple of people who are unbelievably invested in this game, not only financially, but also just time and thought
Sure.
and talking to people. And I feel like this is like a dream for them. Like, I always wanted to be an Olympian. They've always wanted to be a Star Wars Galaxy Viewers beta tester because of the love of the game. Is there any hope for these guys, or is it kind of a done deal?
Well, I wouldn't say this is a done deal. I would say just reach out to Crumb and also be very understanding that of how many messages that dude or
Oh,
in
yeah,
Dojo get in a day.
for
So be
sure.
patient, follow up if you want to reach out to Crumb, and give your resume. I'm not going to guarantee you a damn thing. They're very selective, especially recently, of who they allow in the beta program. Um, and mainly because we've had some leaks happen, so they've really
Oh,
cracked
yeah.
down on
Forgot.
who they
I
allowed.
forgot about that.
Yeah, that
I
was a
can,
big deal.
uh, I mean, it
I
was
was
great for making
pissed.
videos. I was kind of pissed too. I was like, because I know Crumb. I've been on tens of 20s of hours of streams. He's a great guy. Doja's great. It just feels bad. Not for like CG. I'm not gonna pity CG. They're $1 billion company, but
No,
for
I don't
Crumb
pity
and
it.
Doja specifically, I was like, oh, that's gotta sting. And that
Yeah,
was,
it sucks because when you're invited to that program, it's not just the legal stuff, but I mean, you're giving your word. That's a
mm-hmm,
big deal to me. Like, I would love to tell people the stuff I'm working on right now. It would make for like I could make huge money right now. Like if I was to reveal a lot of the stuff I knew right now.
mm-hmm.
But at what cost? And I think
Yeah,
my word is more important. So for
I
me, that's a
agree.
big deal. When the leaks first happened, in a couple instances, I was livid. I mean, I was looking for who it was. I was like, I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna fuck you up when I find you because you are really ruining the relationship. That CG puts trust in these people why it's a small group because you never really know someone until you get to really know them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and by their actions. I'm not worried about myself, and I never have been because they know for a fact that I will never leak. I have not leaked, and they trust me implicitly, and I trust them too, right? So, but it really erodes trust, and it leads to big problems. I mean, when someone leaks, it ruins that trust, and it threatens the program.
Mm-hmm.
And if you guys think if you think it's bad and it's not, but if you want communication to get shot to shit and stuff, when you see someone leaking, call them out on that shit. Just like, what? Because I actually went off on somebody in the Cub stream one time. I was like, I heard it from a beta tester, and it was actually factual information. And I immediately responded, "Who said that? I want their name." And I was angry because it's like, who told you that? Because I knew it was something that I just learned, and I was asked because I was on the Cub stream for something else,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw that comment, and it pissed me off because it's like, oh, for Christ's sakes, really? So
I have
like, I don't know who
vague
that is, but
memories
I'm
of
gonna
that
get it.
actually. I feel like I
I
might have
was
been
pissed.
watching that stream. I
I
don't
was
know. I feel
pissed,
like I
man.
might have been in the chat there, just like fuck. I have a vague memory of that exact thing happening,
I was a little not happy.
but would
Um,
you say, by and large, beta testers are our friends? They're our liaisons, right? We should be generally positive. If Crumb decides to leak any more of them, I feel like we should welcome them with open arms, kind of deal. Because I feel like a
I
lot of
would
people
hope
can be
so.
kind of nasty. Test your game, CG, and all that stuff.
Yeah, and they can. I don't give it two. I don't give two shits. You can say whatever you want. If it's not constructive, I don't care. You know, I mean, people can call me shill or whatever they want. I just always correct their ass. I'm like, you do know that I've dropped more F bombs on CG on live streams than anybody that's ever streamed this game. So I don't think we can say that I'm a shill. I'm honest. I am who I am, and my biggest thing is I think of the community first, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I also try to balance that, like trying to see from CG's perspective. I think that's the way we should all think when we approach things.
Mm-hmm.
I have a certain way of thinking about where I'm coming from, but I'm trying to understand your point, but I'm also trying to get you to see my point and pull and tug and balance and trying to make this stuff work for the game so that the company needs to make money.
Yeah.
And I'm totally cool with that. The problem I've had in the past is how they go about making money, and I let them know that. But that the game is fun. That people enjoy the experience. This is a Star Wars game, and it's not just a game, it's a Star Wars game. It's got that Star Wars, you know, clout to it.
And it comes with a pretty big expectation, right?
Yeah. You know, I mean, this is stuff that people revolve their life around, you know. I mean, that's their escapism, and we all need escapism. We need that thing, whether it's Lord of the Rings or Star Wars or whatever it is, that our everyday lives, so we can just for a moment or for a little bit of time just escape and just live in another galaxy, and we relate to these characters and they mean something. So you have to take that into consideration as well.
Yeah.
So it's both sides of the coin as you try to balance things.